So I've wanted to come here for a very long time, and I finally made it. The Neil Armstrong Air and Space Museum. Let's take a look. This table demonstrates how a spacecraft orbits around the Earth. Turn it on. Hit the button. Animals were the first space travelers. Both the Russians and the Americans used animals as the first passengers in space. Engineers could test equipment and learn how living beings would do in space without risking human lives. Here's the Apollo landing sites on the moon. 12 and 14 were close by. 15, 17, 11 and 16. This is the Apollo spacesuit.
What is this? Is this paper? There's some sort of text on this.
Well, the helmets look a lot different than they used to. Wow. Surviving in the harsh lunar environment.
This looks like paper. It's not paper. Test. Something. I can't read it.
On July 20th, 1969, Apollo 2 astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first people to walk on the moon. This 50th anniversary statue is made from 3D scans of Armstrong's spacesuit in the collection of the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum. Wow. That's wild. Too cool. Wow. Different cameras they use. I bet none of these have a calculator or GPS. So this here, which I believe is called Curiosity, was designed to get a better look at Mars. There it is. crazy looking device. It really just looks like something you can build, or a kid would build in his garage. Pretty cool. And this is the dome that you see outside, which when you're inside, it's actually a movie theater.
The onboard computer would guide the lab to the landing site. Then Armstrong would take over. Almost immediately, there was danger. The computer was overloaded.
So this would have been their food. That right there is applesauce. And then coffee right there. Cream of tomato soup.
Picture the plane. I didn't get a picture of the plane.
Pineapple fruitcake. Chicken and rice. Looks pretty appetizing, don't it? Armstrong's Gemini 8 spacesuit. That is super cool. Gemini 8, the world's first docking with another satellite in orbit. Wow. Gemini 8. Looks like this is on loan from the Smithsonian. And right there's where they would have sat. Two of them. Wow. This is insane. Wow. All the various metals, things like that.
I love these models.
So much history. Wow. Here's something crazy. Wow. Can't even tell how close any of this stuff is. This is crazy.
Oh my god, my phone screen is too bright.
I don't even know, like, how far anything is away from where we're standing. You can't really tell. Some more cool stuff here. Headphones. That would have been from 1989. And gloves also. 1977. 1992. Here's the hydro suit. It says this hydro suit was used on a 1978 mission. Wow. To a space station. It was part of an emergency kit. It would only be used by the astronaut in case of cold water landing. Personal hygiene. Right there is where you would go number 2. And then urination, collection device. Soap and a washcloth. Apollo 11 biological insulation garment. So this is something interesting. 40 seconds after taking this picture, Ranger 9 smashed into the moon. And this photo is on loan from the U.S. Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. Wow. Here's the shuttle missions overview. Looks like the first one was April 12th through the 14th of 1981. And then we know this one for sure. This would be Challenger, January 28th, 86, with Krista McCullough, who was the school teacher, first school teacher in space. They wanted her to teach a lesson from outer space. That's how the 80s worked. They were always trying to do that type of big thing. It's such a cool idea. It's just such a shame that it turned out the way it did. I remember watching it in elementary school. Terrible day. Lots of missions. There's a space shuttle tire. That's cool to see for sure. Huge. Probably about waist high to me. Wow. H-1 rocket engine. Wow. It looks just so overcomplicated. But it's so cool. Wow. It's almost scary that there's that much involved. The space race, born of war. The American-Soviet space race started at the end of the World War II. After the war, the United States, the leader of the Western democracies, and the Soviet Union and the leading communist nation became bitter enemies. The two superpowers competed for the influence around the world in what became known as the Cold War. In order to stay on top and prove to the world that each was better than the other, the superpowers used the rocket technology acquired in World War II to begin the race to send a human into space.